Hello and welcome to another episode of EdgeCraft. I'm your host, Matt, and it is great to see you today. So today we are going to do something that we have not done in a while. We are going to do an amazing redstone contraption. And it is huge. We are going to be building a 4x4 piston door into the side of this mountain. And what I want to do is basically I want to hide Santa's workshop. So we've got our manger scene right here, and right above that on the side of this mountain I want to clear away some of this dirt, and we're going to create a flat surface, and this is where Santa's workshop is going to be located, right inside this mountain. And so in order to do that, I am going to knock away a whole bunch of this dirt. What we need is basically a space that is 6 wide, 5 back, so 5 deep, and I need to create a hole that's 4 down because, well, we're going to be putting redstone below the door, above the door, to the left of the door, to the right of the door, and so we need a nice big area. So I'm going to clear away all that dirt real quick, and I will be back with you in just a second. Okay, so I've got this area all dug out, and I went a little bit wider on the sides, and I'm probably going to have to dig this top out a little bit more too, because I just want to make sure I have enough room to move around as I build this. Now, this is not going to be a tutorial. I'm not going to show you step by step exactly how I do it. Instead, you're going to be watching me on the camera account as I build this. So we're going to jump right into that, and it's going to be a little bit of a super fast mode. Not super fast, because I want you to see what I'm doing, but, you know, a little bit faster and while I'm building this. So I will be back with you in a moment. Okay, so for today's super fast time mode, while we're building this incredible 4x4 piston door, and the redstone is intense, we're going to continue reading in 1 Samuel chapter 14. And in the last time we did story time, which was 2 episodes ago, we were talking about Jonathan, who is Saul's son. And we kind of hinted at the fact that Jonathan is a little different than his father. He kind of follows God. He does what he's kind of supposed to be doing, but he's also a little foolish at times. And so we're going to continue reading, but if you remember from the last couple sentences of the last story, it says, "One day Jonathan, son of Saul, said to his young armor-bearer, 'Come, let's go over to the Philistine outpost on the other side.' But he did not tell his father." Basically, these Philistines are attacking the Israelites. The Israelites don't have any weapons. Jonathan and Saul are the only 2 in the whole nation that have swords. And Jonathan says to just one other guy, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you and I just go over there and check out that outpost?" And so we're going to pick up this story in verse 6, and he's going to repeat this one more time to his armor bearer, and we're going to see what happens as a result. So verse 6, Jonathan said to his young armor-bearer, "Come, let's go over to the outpost of those uncircumcised men. Perhaps the Lord will act in our behalf. Nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few." "Do all that you have in mind," his armor-bearer said. "Go ahead, I am with you, heart and soul." Now this is interesting because Jonathan tells us right here in this statement that he trusts in God. He's like, listen, let's go over there and let's find out if God wants us to do more, because God can do anything he wants to do. So let's head over and give God the opportunity to act through us. And his armor bearer is like, "Hey, I'm with you. No matter where you go, I will follow." So verse 8, Jonathan said, "Come on then, we will cross over toward them and let them see us. If they say to us, 'Wait there until we come to you,' we will stay where we are and not go up to them. But if they say, 'Come up to us,' we will climb up, because that will be our sign that the Lord has given them into our hands." So both of them showed themselves to the Philistine outpost. "Look," said the Philistines, "the Hebrews are crawling out of the holes they were hiding in." The men of the outpost shouted to Jonathan and his armor-bearer, "Come up to us and we'll teach you a lesson." So Jonathan said to his armor-bearer, "Climb up after me. The Lord has given them into the hand of Israel." Jonathan climbed up, using his hands and feet, with his armor-bearer right behind him. The Philistines fell before Jonathan, and his armor-bearer followed and killed behind him. In that first attack, Jonathan and his armor-bearer killed some 20 men in an area of about half an acre. Okay, so this is incredible. So here's what's going on. They show themselves to the Philistines. The Philistines start making fun of them and laughing at them and saying, oh my goodness, come on up here, we'll teach you a lesson. And they're thinking, we're just going to beat these guys up a little bit. And Jonathan's like, all right, well, that was a signal. We said that if they told us to come up there, that was going to be our signal from God that we can beat them. So they climb up there, and it's Jonathan versus 20 men. Now, his armor bearer is kind of going behind him. So as Jonathan knocks them out or hurts them, his armor bearer is actually killing them. Jonathan might kill a few, but he's doing all the hard work. The armor bearer is just kind of killing him with the last stroke. So Jonathan takes out 20 guys all by himself. It's incredible. And it says in about half an acre, so about half the size of a football field. This is where this all takes place. Verse 15, then panic struck the whole army, those in the camp and in field, and those in the outposts and raiding parties, and the ground shook. It was a panic sent by God. Saul's lookouts at Gibeah in Benjamin saw the army melting away in all directions. Then Saul said to the men who were with him, muster the forces and see who has left us. When they did, it was Jonathan and his armor-bearer who were not there. Saul said to Ahijah, bring the ark of God. At that time, it was with the Israelites. While Saul was talking to the priest, the tumult in the Philistine camp increased more and more. So Saul said to the priest, withdraw your hand. All right, so here's what's basically going on. Jonathan goes and fights these 20 guys all by himself. Well, that just freaks the Philistines out. They're scared. They're like, what is going on? This guy is like insane. He's going to kill all of us. And so they start acting crazy. They start getting really scared. And so much so that the ground was shaking. And so Saul, who's over there with the rest of the Israelites hiding basically in caves, they hear all this, they see all this, and like, wait a second, what's going on? Is one of our people over there doing something? And so they kind of look around and they figure out, Jonathan's missing. Oh my goodness. And so Saul's like, okay, before we go into battle, we need to pray to God. And so Ahijah, you do the prayer, and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just kind of silly. Saul's acting a little bit scared here. But the Philistine army is just getting more and more and more crazy, and they're like running away scared. And so finally Saul says, you know what, forget that, let's just go. So verse 20, then Saul and all his men assembled and went to the battle. They found the Philistines in total confusion, striking each other with their swords. Those Hebrews who had previously been with the Philistines and had gone up with them to their camp went over to the Israelites who were with Saul and Jonathan. When all the Israelites who had hidden in the hill country of Ephraim heard that the Philistines were on the run, they joined the battle in hot pursuit. So on that day, the Lord saved Israel, and the battle moved on beyond Beth-aven. Now, the Israelites were in distress that day, because Saul had bound the people under an oath, saying, cursed be anyone who eats food before evening comes, before I have avenged myself on my enemies. So none of the troops tasted food. All right, so we're kind of moving into the second part of the story. Basically, the Philistines are killing themselves. All the Israelites come to join the fight, and they start chasing the Philistines away. So the Philistines are running. Saul and his army are now chasing them to go and kill them. But Saul is kind of, not that he did a whole lot of work, but he's kind of saying, okay, we're going to track these guys down and we're going to kill them. But no one better eat no food at all. You better not eat anything until we kill them all. And so he said if anyone does, they're going to be cursed. Which is kind of crazy because, what if this takes a couple days? They're not going to eat for a couple days? But Saul's kind of like battle mad here in this moment. He's not exactly acting like God would want him to act. So in verse 25, it continues, the entire army entered the woods, and there was honey on the ground. When they went into the woods, they saw the honey oozing out of it. Yet no one put his hand to his mouth, because they feared the oath. But Jonathan had not heard that his father had bound the people with the oath. So he reached out the end of his staff that was in his hand and dipped it into the honeycomb. He raised his hand to his mouth, and his eyes brightened. Then one of the soldiers told him, "Your father bound the army under a strict oath, saying, 'Cursed be anyone who eats food today.' That is why the men are faint." Okay, so bad news happens here. See, Jonathan wasn't around when his dad made this saying. He was off fighting the Philistines. And why would his dad make such a silly oath anyway? But Jonathan walks up, sees the honey, is like, "Why aren't you guys eating this? This is good honey." He takes it and he eats some. And so now, according to Jonathan's father, Jonathan is cursed. Now, that doesn't mean God's going to curse him. That means that Saul, Jonathan's father, is supposed to do something not so good to Jonathan. It actually means that he's supposed to kill his son. Crazy. So we're going to read on one more verse, or a couple more verses, and we're going to see what happens. Jonathan said, "My father has made trouble for the country. See how my eyes brightened when I tasted a little of this honey? How much better it would have been if the men had eaten today some of the plunder they took from their enemies. Would not the slaughter of the Philistines have been even greater?" All right. So good news, bad news. Jonathan's not scared, but now he's also talking against his father. I mean, his father was wrong. His father did something foolish and silly. But now Jonathan's telling everyone that what his father said was wrong. He's like, "Man, everyone should eat this honey. This is good stuff. What was my dad thinking?" That day, after the Israelites had struck down the Philistines from Michmash to Ajalon, they were exhausted. They pounced on the plunder, and taking sheep, cattle, and calves, they butchered them on the ground and ate them, together with the blood. Then someone said to Saul, "Look, the men are sinning against the Lord by eating meat that has blood in it." "You have broken faith," he said. "Roll a large stone over here at once." Then he said, "Go out among the men and tell them, 'Each of you bring me your cattle and sheep, and slaughter them here and eat them. Do not sin against the Lord by eating meat with blood in it.'" All right, so this is a little strange, but basically Saul is saying he finds out that his men are now eating, and they're allowed to eat now. But God had said, you're supposed to cook your meat. You're not supposed to eat it raw. And these men were just so hungry because Saul wouldn't let them eat that they were barely cooking it, and they were eating it basically raw. And so Saul's like, "All right, guys, come on. Come over here, cook your meat right here, and that way you're not going to be disobeying God." So now that Saul's won the battle, he's all about obeying God. But earlier, not so much. Well, in a moment, he's going to find out that Jonathan broke the oath. Jonathan ate food before he was supposed to. And Saul's going to make a tough choice. But we're going to get to that next time in the next episode and find out, does Saul kill Jonathan? What happens? How does he handle the situation? He made a promise that whoever eats food before they're supposed to, he's going to take care of, he's going to deal with. So we'll find out next time, but let's get back to Minecraft. All right, so we've got ourselves a working piston door. Check this out. Now, I've created a little system where I can push this button and it closes it up, and that is just cool. So it's flush with the wall. You can't see that it's there. I could replace these with stone if I want to, but the grass does go away if you leave it closed. It just grows a little bit if you have it up. See how it goes away? And then you push this button here, and it opens. And this is where we're going to create Santa's workshop. Obviously not like a hallway. I'm going to dig back farther that way. But there's another little button over here, so we can close it from the inside. Doesn't look as pretty from the inside, of course, but that's okay. And we can click the button and come on out. So the last thing I need to do is just place down some snow. And I'm a little worried about this button here. Let's see. What if I broke that dirt and I put a snow block? That should be just fine. There we go. And now it looks like it's all uneven anyway, so that's perfect. You still can kind of see the button just fine, but that's okay. And yeah, so we just got to cover up this grass here with snow to make it look just like it did before. I'd love to do that up at the top as well. So let's go on up there. This is my way up over here. And I only have 9 carpets left. So let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can. Yeah. I'm gonna run out. Okay. And yeah, so I need a few more of these snow layers. And the best way to get those, well, I wonder if I can get them with my crafting table and my snow blocks. Let's check this out. I can, but I'm only going to get 12. I don't know if that was worth it. Those snow blocks are pretty valuable, but that's okay. 12 should at least get us to the edge of that row. Okay. Yeah. So that it doesn't look like there's anything out of place. And if we can do this, let's see how far this. Yeah, that's ooh, 1 left. Grab this one, and there we go. There we go. And there's just a little bit of grass up there, but that's okay because it kind of blends in to the scenery. So there we go. We've now got the entrance to Santa's workshop. And in there we can put all kinds of, you know, I don't know, tables and crafting tables and benches and chairs and things like that. But you know what I think I want to do? I want to replace, yeah, these because they're just, yeah, so we're going to leave that snow block there. I want to turn these, I think, into stone because I don't want the grass to grow. Yeah, so if I take stone out and I change what? Ooh. Yeah, like that. Like that. Yeah. And don't. Ooh, no. I need that to be dirt, I think. Yeah. That's got to be dirt. So, all right. So now if I push this button, yeah, there's not a lot of grass around except for these ones. And so hopefully the grass won't spread. And then I can put the snow back like that. I also don't have to layer it up quite as much there. And yeah, that should be good. All right, perfect. Well, let me go to sleep real quick. And we can run this door one last time before we close out the episode. So, Santa in his sleigh is coming in for a landing. He's going to fly around. He uses his, I don't know, garage door opener, whatever. The door opens up. Boom. You never would have known that this was here. He flies right in, and then when he gets inside, the elves hit this button, closes this up, and it's sealed from the inside, and that is gorgeous. And then when he wants to fly out, he can just fly on out, and you hit the garage door button again, I guess, and there we go. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I definitely enjoyed making it. I know it was a little bit focused on the redstone build, and so if you liked that, that's great. Leave a like and a comment. If you didn't like that, that's okay. Leave a comment and let me know, and next time I won't show the redstone parts of it. I'll just say, hey, look what I did. But leave a like, comment if you like more, and I will see you in the next episode. God bless. Bye.